Hi, this is Ryan Lotz, and I'm one of the instructional coaches at Thomas Jefferson in Council Bluffs, Iowa. And I was just going to do one more screencast here. And this is one of the ways that I use Google My Maps in my classroom. So I'll just give you two examples of here of ways that I've used Google My Maps. One of the things that we did in the last year is last spring there was an article in the Omaha World Herald about protested property values. So we got into the topic of property values and property taxes and things like that. So we created a map here. I'm going to open this map here. And what we did is we went to the Douglas County, so that's Omaha, the Douglas County, Nebraska assessor's website. And they have a list of people who have filed to protest their property taxes. So we went ahead and we looked at that list and we just wanted to see if there were any trends as to what type of neighborhood or where people lived, as to whether or not they were more or less likely to protest their property taxes. So what we did is we went to the DC website, and then as you can see, I've got a bunch of dots here, and there's literally hundreds, maybe even 1,000. I don't even know how many different property protests there are. But what we did is we got the address of all these, and then we just simply copied and pasted these addresses into a spreadsheet. And then once we were there, we were able to, oh, I'm going to cancel here. We were able to paste those into, the map, and it was able to just populate the map. Now, this one, because it had so many addresses, it took a little while to populate. But as you can see, there doesn't seem to be really any trend or anything like that as far as whether or not where you live made a difference in your property values or whether or not you were more likely to protest them. But it just kind of gives you a chance to look and see, do we see any trends based upon mapping? So just taking those addresses, putting them in a data table, and then Google Maps will populate it itself. So that's one example. Another example that I'm going to show is we were talking about the cost of healthcare, and someone in class mentioned that, well, if people would go to urgent care clinics instead of emergency rooms, they would probably save a lot of money, and healthcare costs would probably go down. People will just do that. So we decided to see, well, where are there urgent care clinics? So we went online and we found a list of urgent care clinics. And once again, we go ahead and we got a data table here. And as you can see, here's our data table. And we got a list of urgent care clinics throughout Iowa, and we put that data table in here. We just copy and pasted it right in. And as you can see, it populated the map, so we can see where urgent care clinics are. Now, one thing that you will notice is if you look at Cedar Rapids here, and Clinton and Clive, the number in parentheses means the number of urgent care clinics. So, for instance, Cedar Rapids has 6 urgent care clinics in town, whereas Clinton, Iowa has 2. Another thing you might notice is Cedar Rapids does not have the Iowa behind it. And the reason we did that is because we found that when we populated the map, there were several Clintons throughout the country, and it may not go to the Clinton, Iowa. So all we did is we went back to our data table, hit find and replace. So instead of the space behind Clinton, we would just find and replace the space with comma space IA, and then go ahead and enter that data. So every time there was a space, there would be comma space IA. And then what we found is that it was able to repopulate the map from there. So entered our data in, and of course it just populated. So we were looking here, and we're looking at the trends here. As I move my map around with Iowa, you can see that there are many areas, especially if you live in a rural area in western Iowa, where you may not have access to a urgent care clinic. If you live in Des Moines area or along the 380 interstate, Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, Cedar Falls, you probably have a lot more access to urgent care clinics than if you live over here in the western area, like the Loess Hills. So or even southern Iowa, there's not very many urgent care clinics either. So that's kind of a contributing factor to increasing healthcare costs. Excuse me. So just another example of how you can use Google My Maps to populate and find trends and see if you notice anything. Because sometimes just looking at the addresses won't help you, but getting a visual through a map will help students understand a concept more deeply. If you have any questions about these webinars, please contact me. My email is rloots@cbcsd.org, or you can reach me on Twitter at TJHSMRLOOTS. So that's all capitals TJHS and then Mr. and then LOOTS. Lotes is my last name. If you have any questions, please tweet me or you can email me. And thank you for watching.